Buenas tardes, gente. This is, as always, Isidro Montalvo Espinosa, broadcast coordinator for Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña en Vivo. Today we have for you Game 3 of the Serie Eliminatoria between the Navegadores de Naguabo and the Metropolitanos de San Juan. This is the first game that will be played in San Juan. Should the series need to go further, Game 4 would also be in San Juan. Game 5 would return to Naguabo, but let's hope that the Navegadores have brought their big bats to the nation's capital. That has so far really not been in evidence. A couple of tense wins, if you've watched both of them. The 2-1 win on stream last Friday, and a similarly tightrope win last coming out today, actually, as I record this for our seguidores. So if you are one of our patrons, if you've been supporting us, then you should go check your email because you'll have a link to the Game 2 video. Presumably that's how you found this, so I don't really know what to tell you. No point in waiting any further. Let's head on down to the field. We're going to try to keep this as short and sweet as possible. Last game took 52 minutes. That is not what we want to do here. So instead, we are going to go as quickly as we can through this game. We'll explain management decisions as we make them. Anything along those lines, certainly. But for the most part, we're going to leave the stat reading to you. You can pause, rewind as need be. Partly cloudy here at Estadio Capitolino. Temperature 26 degrees. Wind blowing out to center. And we'll still check in on the games every now and again. But no extra pizzazz needed. Rob Feaster hitting very well against number 42, Edmundo Canales, who has thrown 18 innings and has done amazingly well over them, allowing just one earned run, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. And of course, he won both of those starts because that is a 0.50 ERA. It's time we go ahead and get started as we pan across Estadio Capitolino. By the standards of the day, fairly big stadium in San Juan, built into the core of the city, really. And Canales starts off the game with a 4-pitch walk to Rob Feaster. That will put him in position to steal for Sherdloo. So Canales already in trouble. Are they going to catch him? Sherdloo pops up the first pitch. Well, that's exactly what you didn't want to see. Bit of a defensive swing, perhaps. It's popped up and caught by Salazar, a fastball. Edmundo Canales, we should mention, fastball, curveball, and sinker pitcher. So the fact that he's been relatively effective, just a smidge below average, with only 3 pitches, is actually quite something. Here comes Frank de Castillo as Feaster still on first. Will they try and move him here? They will, and he will get caught by a mile. So Feaster is out, and the bases are empty for Frank de Castillo. Rough beginning here yet again for the Navegadores, who have really struggled to put any kind of contact on the ball in the first inning of the game. Naguabo, beyond the leadoff walk, gets nothing, and Edmundo Canales retires the side on 9 pitches, needing only 1 for that first out, getting Rob Feaster out via the help of the catcher, and then only 3 more pitches after that. We head to the bottom of the first, and Padraic Quinlevan will face Cortés, Escobedo, and Gutierrez. Quinlevan, of course, threw a 4-strikeout complete game shutout, something he did not manage to do with any number of strikeouts during the regular season. It's an open question how effective he will be here against a similarly fairly present lineup. These are not easy hitters, and the answer is right there, as Balk cannot corral that base hit. It's a hard grounder, and Santiago waits approximately a million years before picking it up. That's going to be a triple, I would imagine. It shouldn't have been, but that's a defensive lapse. And Jose Cortés has put his team in excellent position already. Quinlevan very effective over most of the past few years. This year took a giant step back. Fastball, slider, changeup, sinker, and cutter. An arsenal that should have made anybody proud. And here comes the one man you do not want to face under these circumstances, Fulco Escobedo, who did, to be fair, strike out twice in yesterday's game. Here, he gets, lines one directly to Rob Feaster. Cheap out, number one, very necessary on the sinker. Can he repeat the feat with Crescencio Gutierrez with a man on third and one out? The answer is no. That is going to land shallow, and the Metropolitanos, for the second game in a row, strike first. It's an RBI single by Crescencio Gutierrez. And La Murallas fans, let them know how much they appreciate that. They're behind 2 games. It's fair. Man still on first and one out for Zacarias Esparza. As Gutierrez attempts one, and for some reason Stonehand's famous arm has completely deserted him during this series. He cannot catch Gutierrez running for second. So there'll be a man in scoring position with just one out for Esparza. Quinlevan has that one. Nice defensive play, and he throws to hold the runner. So 2 outs, and a man still on second for Julián Guzmán, who, of course, took John Paikos deep in the last game a couple days ago. Here, Guzmán lines that one into right field, and De Castillo grabs it on the run. So, thankfully, a few defensive miracles stanch the bleeding. A great play from Frank De Castillo running across the big right field there to get in position. But not before the Metropolitanos give the home crowd something to cheer about. They strike first. We head into the top of the second. Santiago, Balk, and Valdez against Canales, who was through 9 pitches. Santiago did quite well in the last game, I should say. Can he repeat that? Doesn't look like it, as he is going to be caught out. Oh, he will not. That's an error. And for the second game in a row, the Navegadores benefit from some bad San Juan defense, as Salazar's throw is wild. And the tying run will be on second base already. Great bailout of a bad swing decision, as here comes Wally Balk, who's been doing quite well in the postseason, although he does strike out quite a bit. Not that time, he doesn't. That is needled into right field, and Santiago will make it to third. I don't think anybody in the world would have let him run home. But that puts runners on the corners with no outs for Benji Valdez. Now, he did not well in the last game, though his postseason stats overall have been fine. Is he going to be able to increase the pressure on Canales as the Ilustrísimo continues his torrid stretch? And the answer is yes. That is a game-tying single from Benji Valdez. Santiago will score, and the Navegadores have that run right back, still with no outs and 2 on. Excellent swing he put on that curveball, up and away. With no outs, there are still 2 on for Declan Milne, who, after showing some signs of promise, has really kind of fallen down on the job lately. Can he come through here, continue moving the chains? That is looking great. That splits the gap in left center all the way to the wall. That's a lot of territory to cover for Cortés and his arm as he makes the throw to the relay man, and Milne is going to go into second with a double. Looks like they actually only scored 1 run on that one, as Wally will run home. Valdez will make it to third. And it's an RBI double. The Navegadores not only get the run back and then some, they take the lead. That'll bring up Graham Underwood. Now, he's been doing very well, 6 for 17 in the postseason, 4 runs batted in, which is hanging pretty tough. That's second on the tied for the lead on his club, and still in a hot streak. Can he continue this quality of hitting he's had? He bounces that to first, and it's going to be a productive RBI groundout, so he'll have the lead for his team, actually, as Ham will be out, but Valdez will score, and the Navegadores now lead 3-1. Milne moving over to third. Spike Stonehand comes up next. Can he widen this at all? Get a sac fly, maybe something into the outfield. Bounces that one, and it's caught by Morales, and it's 2 successive RBI groundouts. Morales had no play there. Escobedo has to scoop it, And Milne will score, so it's 4-1 now. Canales picking up his second earned run there, and that turns the lineup over here in the second. Feaster comes up with 2 outs. Can he extend the inning at all? No. He is frozen out on strike 3. Iffy call looks like, but 3 hits, 4 runs, just an error. The score is now 4-1. The Navegadores strike back decisively. And it looks almost as if the umpire just needed that inning to be over. In the bottom of the second, Quinlevan will face Rangel, Sanchez, and Morales, and we are already going to start warming people up because Quinlevan collapses at a moment's notice. So we may not get any warning signs before things go wrong, as Balk has that one, throws across the hallway, and this time there is no mistake. Feaster has it on the other end, and that's out number 1. Here comes Sanchez on a 2-2 count. And Quinlevan gets his 5th strikeout of the season against Pedro Sanchez. There, a slider gets him frozen. 2 outs, bases empty, and Quinlevan here on the cusp of closing out the second inning with not much worry. Popped up! And then Morales successfully controlled here, something Picos really struggled with, and that's out number 3. A clean second inning for Padraic Quinlevan, exactly what the doctor ordered. The Navegadores remain in the lead and have the chance to tack on more in the top of the third. And Mundo Canales, 34 pitches. He faces Shirley, Del Castillo, and Santiago. Shirley once again just getting under ball after ball. This has been a real struggle for him all postseason so far. A lot of very quick at-bats ended very early with a bad swing. Del Castillo having similar trouble. He's hitting just .217 and may very well have to start moving down in the lineup if this keeps going, as he once again is chopping that one on the ground to second. Morales throws it over to first, and this is a very quick inning. 3 pitches for just 2 outs by Canales here. Vidal Santiago comes up next. He's 0 for 1. Can he extend the inning at all? Looks like yes. That is going to land all the way at the wall in left field. Shades there of his earlier trouble with Cortez. And it looks like he's going to be in with a double. Pedro Sanchez there returns the throw and holds him to just 2 bases with 2 outs. Can they do anything with this? Wally Balk already has a single in the game. He's not typically who you go to for driving in a ton of runs, and that's why, as he's successfully pressured into a bad swing there. Grounder that can't make it through the infield, and Balk is retired. So another hit for the Naves, and they remain in the lead 4-1. We'll head into the bottom of the third and the bottom of the first third of the game. Norman and Pino head back to the bullpen as Quinlevan takes on Salazar, Cortez, and Escobedo. Salazar here, a very bad hitter. Here seen getting thrown out. Valdez to Feaster easily, and that's out number 1. Quinlevan retires 4 in a row here as he now faces Cortez. 5, I guess. Cortez this time, of course, he tripled last at bat, and here he draws a full count walk. The first that Quinlevan's given up in the postseason. So he'll be on base for the second time today with Escobedo coming up to bat. Quinlevan already at 37 pitches here. And Cortez manages to steal second easily. Stonehand so far proving really having a very hard time controlling the running game. As Escobedo hits one into right field that should have landed. But somehow Frank de Castillo is there once again. 2 great plays in right field for Diablo Rojo, who is able to dive and make that happen. He smothers it, and Cortez will be stuck at second. Crescencio Gutierrez comes up. He's 1 for 1 with a ribby that gave the Metropolitanos their only run so far. This is exactly what he would, the kind of hitter that Quinlevan has trouble with, and sure enough, he gets one into center field. Underwood making the throw, but it's going to be wide of home. Cortez is in safely, and for the second time today, Crescencio Gutierrez delivers an RBI single, scoring Jose Cortez. He'll be on first with 2 outs for Zacarias Esparza. And Crescencio Gutierrez, for the second time, steals. Stonehand has so far prevented a single runner from stealing. Has not prevented, pardon me, a single runner from stealing. This is just a truly bad performance. None of these have so far come back to haunt him, I guess. But and on a full count, luckily, Quinlevan gets his second strikeout, and the Metropolitanos only cut the lead down to 2. A long at-bat there that Quinlevan will almost certainly wish he had back. That full count to Cortés was the real problem. Here come Valdez, Milne, and Underwood against Canales, who is at 42 pitches over his 3 innings. But before we do that, we're going to check in on the other games happening. Gurabo and Quebradillas are currently in a scoreless tie in the 4th. Middle of the 4th looks like. Quebradillas, of course, has a 2-1 lead. The Señores de Ponce are leading the Hechiceros 2-0 and 2-1 in the series overall. Canomanas striking first in the bottom of the 3rd. Currently has 2 on and 2 outs, and already a 2-0 lead against Cabo Rojo. This would be their first victory in the series. San Germán, which currently, pardon me here, San Germán, which currently has a 2-1 lead, is behind 2-0. I'm going to go ahead and guess that a lot of that has to do with Joey Kroos hitting his 3rd home run of the postseason and Leonard Robertson being back on form. And Rio Grande which is tied with Patillas in the Bird Bowl, is currently leading 4-0 against Patillas, while in another tied series, Camuy versus Salinas, Salinas is ahead 1-0. Let's go back to the top of the 4th here. Canales against Valdez. He, of course, hit that run-scoring single that tied the game back in the 2nd inning. He's very good at getting those extra hits, but here Gutierrez runs it down. Great play. Made it look real easy, but Crescencio Gutierrez himself has been unable to cover that ground in this very game. So good job moving to his left there. That'll bring up Declan Milne. He is showing, again, signs of turning back into his old self. And, well, it turns out that which old self that is depends on context, because he pops up on at least a fairly long at-bat. 5 pitches there. Canales already at 50. Up comes Graham Underwood with a chance to extend this inning by any means necessary. The cool thing, Underwood chops down to Gutierrez. He's got it, makes the throw, and that should be out number 3. So Canales gets a very easy inning, nothing across for the Navegadores, and now the Metropolitanos get back to work against Quinlevan. He's through 3 innings on 51 pitches, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. The nice thing about being Quinlevan in this situation is that if you get into trouble at some point, there are a million other arms ready to go backing you up. So there's no need to worry too much that you have to take on this entire game by yourself. He did last time, and he did very well, but he doesn't have to. As he faces Guzman, drops that one to Sherdloo. Easy little grounder. And no trouble at all for Sherdloo. Up comes Rangel, 0 for 1 on the day. On a 1-2 count. That's hit hard, and it gets past Valdez. Couldn't quite make that last step happen, and Rangel will be aboard with a single. Dangerous territory here as Sanchez, El Alquimista, comes up to bat. That is grounded to Valdez. He's got it, throws to second for 1, but they will not be able to make that relay throw. So 2 outs, and Sanchez replaces Rangel at first. Sanchez, quick runner with Eden Morales up to bat. You have to imagine they're going to send him at some point. Quinlevan here may be about to get out of this inning. As once again, Stonehand inexplicably takes years to get rid of the ball, and Sanchez is able to swipe a base. So far here, we have seen 4 stolen bases on Stonehand. I don't know if that happened at all this year during the regular season. And that's hit hard and splits the gap. That's going to cut the lead down to 1, as that steal turns out to prove costly. Underwood has to go chase that down, and Morales once again playing the hero, as that throw from center field is taking entirely too long to come in, and it's an RBI triple. These games were tense enough, and they're only getting more exciting as this cuts down the lead to 1 and puts the tying run just 90 feet away for Eneas Salazar. Can Quinlevan pitch his way around this one? Balk has it. Pumps, throws, and the damage is limited. The Navegadores have so far, with one exception, proved completely unable to get to Canales at all. Meanwhile, the Metropolitanos keep chipping away at the lead. Will that be enough? Canales at 51 pitches now over his 4 innings, and he faces Spike Stonehand, who's 0 for 1. Naves probably tempted to grab Pablo Salmeron, but there goes Stonehand, and he draws another walk, his 3rd in the last 2 games, to turn the lineup over, and here comes Rob Feaster. Feaster, I think, not quite good enough, as he throws to second for 1 there. Morales to Gutierrez, and they'll get the lead runner out. Now the question is, can at least Feaster put himself in scoring position? So that will have been remotely worth it. Shirley 0 for 2 on the day. And this time, Rob Feaster is off, and Rangel can't even make it happen. Feaster steals the base, his 6th of the postseason, puts himself into second base with a 1-0 count and 1 out on Shirley. And on the 2-2 count, he sends that one into right field, and it bounces in front of the right fielder, Esparza. He wasn't quite ready for that one, and it'll put runners on the corners with 1 out. Frank de Castillo here has yet another chance to play the hero. Can he make it happen? No, he pops up over the right side of the infield, because why wouldn't he? That's been the story of this entire series. The Navegadores somehow managing to score runs, despite the fact that something like 92% of their at-bats end in a terrible pop-up. Can Vidal Santiago bring that run home and widen the lead back out? My guess is no, but here goes nothing. Nope, another pop-up, back-to-back. So they will go into the bottom of the 5th with a 1-run lead that they are squandering by stranding every possible runner. Norman and Pino go back in the pen as Quinlevan faces the top of the lineup that has so far really dominated him. Cortez 1 for 1 with a walk. And here Quinlevan finally gets a little revenge on the man that scored 2 of the 3 runs he's given up. Strikes him out, his 3rd strikeout of the night. He now faces Escobedo, who's 0 for 2. Escobedo rounds that one right back to Quinlevan and is going to be thrown out. Oh, no, he's not. Quinlevan's throw is offline. It bounces out of Feaster's glove, and Escobedo will be safe at first. And now you know the Navegadores are worrying that it's going to turn out like the error did for them a few innings ago. Here comes Crescencio Gutierrez, who's 2 for 2, having a great game. That is lined to Shirley. And then it's a throw to Rob Feaster, and it's a double play. They have a twin killing thanks to some heads-up defense there. And Quinlevan gets out of it, buys himself the 6th on what otherwise would have probably been a pretty tough inning indeed. The line out here from Gutierrez, the first time he's not on base all game. And Shirley is able to launch that back since Escobedo has the approximate foot speed of a tranquilized sloth. We head into the top of the 6th. Canales against Balk, Valdez, and Milne. Balk last time grounded out. He takes Canales to a full count and draws a walk. Canales, his 3rd walk of the game. No problem there for him. He's not worried. He knows that it won't be an issue. As Valdez comes up, he's 1 for 2. He draws a full walk, as he also grounded out last time. And he hits that one up the middle past Gutierrez. Balk will be on second base, and we're not going to force it there. So with 2 on and no outs, here comes Declan Milne. He already had a hit in this game. Can he bring some runs home here? Is the 100-acre wood in the field tonight? And the answer is yes! Milne gets that one past the infield, as Escobedo cannot corral it, and the bases will be loaded with no outs for Ham Underwood. He's over 2 on the day, but he's shown some great flashes of talent here. Canales shaken as he reaches almost 100 pitches. Can Ham Underwood at least get something into the outfield? You have got to be kidding me. A huge can of corn, exactly the kind of thing Canales has been getting all game. This time on a fastball, admittedly. And it's 1 out. He can breathe as Stonehand comes up. He's 0 for 1, and we're not going to let him. Now batting for the Navegadores de Naguabo, number 17, Pablo Salmeron. He's only 3 for 11 during the postseason, and he has yet to draw a walk, but we're hoping that Pablito is going to bring his hitting shoes this time around. He was 4 for 22 during the season, and this time he gets it past Salazar at third base. That's going to bring in 1 run, and Pedro Sanchez's arm is going to be challenged by Valdez. He slides in. That's a 2-run single by Pablo Salmeron, and Naguabo is up now 6-3. That's going to knock out Edmundo Canales and bring in San Juan's excellent closer, Ansel Portuondo, who has not pitched in this postseason. During the regular season, he had a 1.89 ERA. Let's see here. Won 2 games, lost 3, saved 4 over 19 innings. That ends Edmundo Canales' outing. His first bad one of the postseason, which is unfortunate, but that's how the game is played. And as the batting lineup turns over again with 2 on and 1 out, Portuondo will face Rob Feaster. That is bobbled. It's a pass ball, and Milne and Salmeron will head to second and third. That kills the double play opportunity, at least the easy ones. Let's see if Feaster can do anything about that. Portuondo, a lefty against a lineup that crushes lefties. He freezes Feaster with a fastball upstairs. That's out number 2. Can Sherdloo do any better? He typically is a very good anti-lefty hitter, but here he is also frozen, and Portuondo is able to limit the damage there. It'll now be Quinlevan taking over with a 3-run lead. As Norman and Pino head back to the pen, in the bottom of the 6th with Salmeron now catching, Esparza, Guzman, and Rangel all ready to go. Quinlevan gives up his 2nd walk of the night to Esparza, puts him on board with no outs. Here comes Guzman, who is 0 for 2 on the day. Here he bounces down to Valdez. Valdez has it, throws to second for 1. Sherdloo to first, and it's a double play. A second double play here to bail Quinlevan out. That kind of ground ball pitching is why Quinlevan is still reasonably effective now and again. And here Sherdloo with that immediate throw to first to complete the twin killing. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Quinlevan as he now faces Rangel, who's 1 for 2 on the day. Especially because it sure looks like Quinlevan is going to give up his 3rd walk of the night. That's exactly what happens. Rangel, 3 walks and 3 strikeouts and 3 runs for Quinlevan, as Rangel will be on first with 2 outs, and here comes Pedro Sanchez, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Rangel's going to try to steal second. I don't know what it is about the Navegadores and facing base-running catchers in the postseason, but he's out. Salmeron nabs him. Maybe they thought it was still Stonehand back there, but he will not be allowed to progress. So we are through 6, and the Navegadores remain ahead 6-3 as we head into the top of the 7th. Let's check on the other games. Oh, wow. Well, the Chupacabras remain ahead 2-1 in their game, but that means Cabo Rojo is now on the board. So they might still pull this out, obviously. Raul Jaramillo having a pretty good game there. Gurabo ahead of Quebraditas 3 6-0 in the top of the 7th. They've got Orlando Pais on first, and it looks like their left fielder Antonio Villalba, great player, hit a home run earlier in the game. I'm sure that has something to do with it, as does the fact that Nehemias Ruiz has walked 6 batters. In the Ponce-Guayama game, Guayama has actually taken the lead, though Ponce has the tying run on second with no outs. And speaking of tying runs, the Golondrinas de San Germán in the bottom of the 7th are down 3-0, but they've got 2 on with 1 out and the tying run at the plate against Leonard Robertson. The Cotorras, so the good news is that the Cuervos managed to score 4 runs. The bad news is the Cotorras have scored another one, so they remain in the lead 5-4. And at the bottom of the 7th against Rubén Mesa have a chance to tack on some more. And lastly, in the Camuy Salinas game, Salinas is ahead 2-0 in the bottom of the 7th. So let's head into the top of the 7th in this game, and Frank de Castillo will face Portuondo for what might be his last game this high up in the lineup. De Castillo, weirdly for a righty batter, actually has trouble against lefty pitchers, and he's 0 for 3 on the day. So that was about what we expected, although it's a long flyout for once. Big flyout right to Zacarias Esparza. He has all the time in the world to position himself and grabs it. Here comes Vidal Santiago. He's very consistent, very good against both handednesses. Portuondo at 13 pitches. Let's see if he keeps Vidal under wraps. Vidal's 1 for 3 on the day. He walks him. That's a 1 knock on Portuondo's game, the walks, and he gives one up here. Portuondo's got a fastball and a slider, and the more often they see both, the more they're going to be able to hammer it. He's not particularly fast as a pitcher or controlled. Here comes Wally Balk. He's 1 for 2. Wally Balk cracks that one, but it's a hard grounder to second, and it'll be their own double play. As with Santiago and Balk, the 2 slowest runners on the team, there was no chance that was going to go well. So the score remains 6-3 Naguabo, and Salmeron and Quinlevan will take their spots. Norman and Pino back in the pen against Sanchez, Morales, and Salazar. Sanchez is 0 for 2. Quinlevan still not at 100 pitches, so the one thing you can give him is he's extremely efficient. Saving the bullpen, that work is highly necessary, as Sherdlou can't quite. He jumps, but he can't get there. And it'll be a line drive into center field. Sanchez will have his base hit and be on first with no outs. Neither Norman nor Pino is going to be any better at holding the runners than Quinlevan is, so we're going to see what he can do as he now faces pinch hitter number 1, Jeremias Montoya, who is 1 for 3 in the postseason. Even Salmeron can't stop the Metropolitanos from stealing, at least not Pedro Sanchez, as he will be in second with no outs. That sinker not quite controlled enough. Montoya hits that one on a line drive to center field. Underwood is chasing it down. He's got it and holds the runner at second. And as Salazar comes up, he's 0 for 2 on the day. That puts Eden Morales out of reach for the lineup. That could get interesting in the next inning. Salazar chips that one right to Feaster. Good grab there on the line out. Seemed like he waited until the last possible moment to realize it was coming his way. But he does, and Quinlevan might be about to dance his way out of trouble again as he now faces Jose Cortez, who is 1 for 2 on the day. Hits down to Valdez. Valdez has it. Throws to first, and the inning is over. We're through 7. The Navegadores remain ahead 6-3. Looks like Eneas Salazar is staying at third. Tácito Barajas, number 19, now at second base, a substantially worse defender. Benigno Valdez, Declan Mill, Graham Underwood, maybe even Pablo Salmeron, all set to face Ansel Portuondo, who is through 5 outs with a walk and 2 strikeouts, has yet to allow a hit or an earned run. My guess is we're going to see 3 strikeouts in a row, but don't quote me on it. Yep, there's the first one, as Valdez can't hold his swing back on the fastball. and puts his shoulder into it. He's called for it, and that's out number 1. Here comes Declan Milne, who's 2 for 3. His job is supposed to be to crush righties. But can he do anything against Portuondo here? He's got a single and a double. And look at that. A Navegador batter pops up against a Metropolitano pitcher. How surprising that it's over the infield and no one cares. And with 2 outs, here comes Ham Underwood. He's over 3, coming back down to earth after an unbelievably blazing start to his postseason. Maybe it's time for him to get hot again. If he can extend the inning a little bit, put some pressure on Portuondo, things could get interesting. As he lines that one down the right field corner, that's not escaping Esparza. And sure enough, he's got the glove, he puts it up, and it's out number 3. The Navegadores get nothing across here in the top of the 8th. And it's up to Quinlevan and Salmeron to keep Escobedo, Gutierrez, and Esparza from scoring any more runs. Anbar and Varela will be ready in the pen as Escobedo, who's over 3, comes up first. That is lined into center field. Underwood chasing it down, reads the wind, and he is there. 1 out. Bases remain empty for Crescencio Gutierrez, who is only not 3 for 3 because Sherdlu got in the way. And he's batted in 2 of the 3 San Juan runs. This time he gets it to Sherdlu, but it's in plenty of time for him to throw to first, and Gutierrez is out. Here comes Esparza, who's over 2 on the day, with Anbar and Varela ready in the pen. That is hit hard out to left field. Vidal Santiago looks to be chasing it down, and he puts the gloves up. He's got it out there in left field. So the Metropolitanos go down in order, and it comes down to the 9th. It'll be Salmeron, Feaster, and Sherdlu, a bunch of lefties that are good at crushing lefties against Portuondo to begin the inning. He's at 32 pitches, so the question is he going to get tired enough to see some contact from the opposing hitters? Salmeron, of course, hit that 2-run single that made it 6-3, but Portuondo's ready for him this time. And that's exactly what he wanted out of him, a soft little grounder that he can pick up and fire to first, and that's out number 1. On the first pitch, no less. Here comes Feaster, who's over 3. Can he do any better than a first pitch out? He can, but not by much. It's a fly out to center field, a line drive there, and Cortez has it for out number 2. Sherdlu comes up as the last chance to extend the inning, as Anbar and Varela get ready back in the bullpen. Sherdlu hits that one, and he does extend the inning. It gets past Barajas. And he'll make the turn at first. He's got a single, a 2-out knock here, his second hit of the game. He's back up to hitting near 300 for the postseason. And here comes Frank de Castillo, who's 0 for 4 during the game. And to nobody's shock, Frank strikes out with the possibility of extending the inning ahead of him. Something in the clutch gene that de Castillo normally carried has just deserted him so far, but the score remains 6-3. And now it'll be up to Quinlevan. Actually, no, it will not. It will be up to Kareem Anbar to once again put on his superhero cape and save a game for his team. Varela will sit down, and Chet Hancock will take his place in the pen. As here comes Guzman, Rangel, and Sanchez against Anbar. Anbar, you know him, you love him. He's a ground baller, but he's also a sinker-slider guy. Has yet to get a save this year in the regular season, but has already saved more than a game in the postseason. And that's how he's done it, with a deadly slider and a biting sinker. And he gets his 9th strikeout of this postseason here against Juda Guzman. He now faces pinch hitter number 22, Javier Aguirre, who's 1 for 1 in the postseason. During the regular season, he was 5 for 11 as a pinch hitter. Pretty good there, as that is an attempted, and yep, that's exactly what was going to happen. Poor Rob Feaster there. Laid out for that one. Knocked down the ball, but that underhand throw was going to be very difficult to grab, and Anbar could not make it happen. So that will allow Aguirre on to first as Pedro Sanchez comes up. He's 1 for 3. with one out and one on. Sanchez strikes out on the sinker. So it's 2 outs over 11 pitches for Kareem Anbar, his 10th strikeout of the postseason. And he will now face Tácito Barajas, who is taking his first cuts in the playoffs. Hit 180, but had an on-base percentage of 3.20 during the regular year. Can Anbar end it here? The answer is no. Barajas comes through for his ball club and extends the inning. Frank de Castillo launches that one eventually, and they're able to hold Aguirre to second base. So here comes Eneas Salazar, who's 0 for 3 on the day, 5 for 25 during the postseason. Anbar, here at 12 pitches. Can he end the game here? On the first pitch, Anbar throws. Salazar hits that one to Valdez. Easy grounder. Throws to second base, and they've got him. The Navegadores sweep the Serie Eliminatoria with a 6-3 finish, and they will go into the third round of the playoffs. A tense ending here as Padraic Quinlevan gets his second win of the postseason. 8 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. He sure loves the number 3. And Kareem Anbar gets his 4th save of the postseason, having pitched an inning in which he allowed a hit and struck out 2. Once again, not a whole lot of offensive display here, but this time around, it does feel like it was a little bit more spread out. We have multi-hit games from Sherlock, Valdez, and Milne, and of course, Salmeron's heroic 2-run single, which knocked Canales out of the game. Benji Valdez receives Ilustre for the series, hitting .364, on-base percentage of .417, drove in 2 runs, batted in, scored 2 runs. And we say goodbye to the team from the capital, despite their valiant effort here, hanging 3 runs on Quinlevan, and, of course, putting up 4 stolen bases against one of the best anti-running catchers in the game. The Navegadores will play either Patillas or Rio Grande in the next round, which could be quite dangerous. Both of those teams are very, very good on the mound, and really, if you're the Navegadores, you want to face Patillas. I'll say that. The Chupacabras did win their games 7-3 and now lead the series 2-1. Patillas came back in the 8th to score 3 more runs, and they kept the Cotorras down. Mario Cordero loses his second game of the postseason. Patillas is now ahead 2-1 in their series. And Salinas leads theirs 2-1 as they shut out the Murciélagos. Federico Urtiaga winning that game. As we head over to the Liga Ostos, Gurabo wins their game 5-2 as Juan Carlos also hit a home run for the Taínos. Carolina won their game 5-2. Aubrey Handrahan bringing up another home run for Carolina. So that series is also tied at 2. And Ponce, sadly, defeated the Hechiceros in 17 innings as they came up short. The Senora scored 4 runs in the 17th to take a 9-5 lead, and the Hechiceros spoiled the song by grabbing another run. So it looks like the Navegadores will be back shortly on Friday with the Serie Interdivisional. Who that's against, we will know shortly. I said shortly twice in the last 2 sentences. At any rate, we'll wait for that to happen. This video will, of course, be out for our queridos seguidores to be able to see exclusive access for you. And we'll see you on stream, we hope, anyway. And we hope you're voting for Mascot Bowl, and we should have a patron poll out tonight at some point as we're recording this. But until then, as always, this has been Isidro Montalvo Espinosa, broadcast coordinator for Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña en Vivo. Gente, buenas noches, gracias mil, y Dios les bendiga.